Right now on Denver 7 News at 5 o'clock, an afternoon in the backyard turned traumatic when pit bulls attacked a grandmother and grandson in Golden. The tremendous effort it took from police to rescue the two.
Aurora first responders may not have access to a drug they call one of their best options for treatment. The new concerns being raised after the death of Elijah McClain. Plus,
you realize you don't win it all in one day, one game. You know, you win it through a journey and a process.
Well, hopefully that journey ends in the playoffs for the Broncos, while new quarterback Russell Wilson is still feeling confident and optimistic going into Sunday's game after that tough loss on Monday.
He's always Mr. Positive.
I know, exactly, yeah. He moved on the moment after the game.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. It is Thursday. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. And wow, what a nice change in the weather yesterday. The rain, it is finally feeling like fall. It may stick around a while, at least, Lisa.
Yeah, today and tomorrow is going to still have that cooler fall-like feel at times. Right now at 5:01, we're looking at drier conditions here in town. We picked up, obviously, some rain yesterday during the evening commute. That has since cleared up. You're going to see sunshine this morning. We do have some pretty good showers coming in from the west right now, from Glenwood Springs, stretching west toward Palisade and Grand Junction. You're going to find some wet roads there along I-70. And even, again, a little light snow on those peaks early on. Low to mid-50s. It is going to be a little cooler for us here this morning. Your kids might want a light extra layer early on. Biking to school, it would be a good morning for it. Mid to upper 60s here by about 10 o'clock. We will see a return of those afternoon thunderstorms, though, today, and I'll show you what that looks like timing-wise coming up. Cooler, though, today, 50s and 60s for the mountains, 74 in Fort Collins, 77 here in Denver. It'll be about 10 degrees warmer right in the heart of the Broncos game on Sunday. We'll take a closer look at that coming up.
Russ likes the heat.
Does he?
At least
you
I
and
think
Russ,
so.
first name basis.
That's right. Right now, we do have a good drive. You might still find some damp areas here and there, like out here on the east side of town. Had a lot of those rainstorms that were making some wet neighborhoods yesterday, but right now it looks okay on the main highways and byways. Take a look at the drive across I-70 out by Quebec. Also, again, looking pretty good here. And as you take a look at the map, had some overnight construction out here at 225. That's all wrapped up, and they're wrapping up all the paving out to the west side of town. So drive times on 6th Avenue or I-70 or out here to the east side, all basically returning back to normal. South side, east side, all looking good for us as you make your way out and about right now.
Well, breaking news from overnight, the looming strike of railroad workers is on hold for now, thanks to a tentative agreement.
The Biden administration announced the deal early this morning, and we know some of the basics. Workers will get 24% raises over 5 years, with a 14% raise in bonuses immediately. The contracts still have to be ratified by individual unions. In a statement overnight, the president said the deal will keep our critical rail system working and avoid more disruption to our economy.
We're also working to learn if long-distance passenger trains scheduled for today are back on. Amtrak had already canceled those trains due to contract negotiations and anticipating a strike. Amtrak workers are not involved in the negotiations, but their trains do use a lot of freight rail. The routes affected include the California Zephyr, which comes through Denver's Union Station, and the Southwest Chief, which travels through the southeast corner of our state. Well, here locally, a grandmother and grandson in Golden are recovering, thankfully, after a scary dog attack.
Yeah, they were mauled by two pit bulls in their backyard. The boy ran for help. Denver 7's Jessica Crawford is live now. And Jessica, it sounds like police officers really struggled to get the dogs away from the woman.
Absolutely, yeah. So Golden police actually got between those two pit bulls and that 89-year-old woman to help stop that vicious attack. And we have also learned that ultimately those dogs were tased, but they're doing okay right now, are contained. So it did happen here on this street behind me, here in this neighborhood. Yesterday afternoon, West 1st Avenue here in Golden. The dogs attacked the 12-year-old boy, and he got away to a neighbor's house to call police. And when officers arrived, there was a trail of blood going up to the house, and they found the dogs actively attacking the woman in the backyard. Every time officers approached the grandmother, the dogs would circle the police, and they did shout at the dogs, but that did not work, and they did have to use tasers and beanbag shotguns to get them to back off. The grandmother is hospitalized with critical injuries. The boy was airlifted to Children's Hospital. Police say the dogs involved in the attack are currently contained and that they are not a threat to the public. The victims did know the dogs, but it's not clear who they belong to. Now, I did check the city code, and Golden does not have a ban on pit bulls. However, it is unlawful to own a vicious animal. So if an animal is found to be vicious, it could be impounded and even ultimately put down. Live in Golden, I'm Jessica Crawford, Denver 7.
Thank you, Jessica. Local prosecutors say there is not enough evidence to charge anyone with a crime after 5 people were found dead from suspected fentanyl use inside a Commerce City apartment. The Adams County District Attorney says his team has been working tirelessly to solve the case, including adding extra help from Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice. The DA says the only evidence is the group did not know the drugs they were taking were laced with fentanyl.
In order for us to charge someone with these deaths, we need to have an identifiable suspect who we can prove sold the drugs that were laced with the fentanyl that killed these 5 individuals. And we do not have that today.
DA Brian Mason says they could have a suspect or suspects eventually. It all comes down to more leads and new evidence.
Aurora City Council members are pushing to stop the use of any new sedatives by Aurora fire paramedics. The use of the drugs came under fire after the death of Elijah McLean, who died in 2019 after paramedics injected him with a large amount of ketamine. The city has since banned the use of ketamine, and 3 police officers and 2 Aurora fire paramedics are facing charges, criminal charges in that case. Aurora Fire, meanwhile, introduced the sedative droperidol just last month. This sparked concerns from the union representing Aurora fire paramedics, and now there's a resolution for the city council to stop the use of the sedative for at least the next 3 years.
I just don't understand why we would take the risk of introducing an additional sedative while those charges are still pending.
An Aurora fire spokesperson said they haven't seen the resolution yet, but they called droperidol one of the best treatment options they have for patients.
Taking a live look from London this morning, where droves of people are lining up to say goodbye to Queen Elizabeth II after she passed away 1 week ago today. About 750,000 people are expected to come pay their respects. The line stretches for nearly 4 miles right now. Yesterday, for many, they paused when they entered Westminster Hall. Others bowed.
I was 5 when the Queen became Queen, and she has been the mainstay and the constant in my life. I'm now 75, and I just thought I should mark her passing.
The Queen was brought to this resting place in a 38-minute procession. Thousands came to watch as her coffin was carried over from Buckingham Palace on a horse-drawn gun carriage draped in the Royal Standard of Scotland and topped with the imperial crown.
For many people, they just want to be part of history. I think no matter how you feel about the monarchy in the UK, there is a love and adoration for the Queen. And so for everyone who has the chance, they do want to go there and show their respects.
The Queen's state funeral will be held Monday at Westminster Abbey. We will have special coverage on Denver 7. Turning to your Broncos, Captain Justin Simmons, this one hurts, is out for at least 4 games with a quad injury. He told Broncos insider Troy Rank he heard it early in the second quarter against Seattle. Never would have known, but he says he'll be better than ever when he returns. So second-year safety Caden Stearns will step into his place. Meanwhile, at least the Broncos are back home this weekend. They're trying to bounce back from that opening loss in Seattle.
Now, Russell Wilson thinks it's a part of the team's overall journey to success in the postseason.
The thing about great teams is they always respond. If you want to be a championship team, you got to respond. You realize you don't win it all in one day, one game. You know, you win it through a journey and a process, and you have to go through a little bit of adversity to get to the other side. You know, and that's just what it is. You know, if you want, you got to be able to have a little challenge and a little, you know, I always say adversity tolerance to be able to get to the other side of greatness and what that looks like.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been their leader. We'll see how he and the team do, how they respond with the packed house and Broncos country to cheer them on. Kickoff is Sunday at 2:25 p.m. Lisa.
And it's going to be about 10 degrees warmer that day compared to what we'll see today. A little cooler today and tomorrow with a good chance for some afternoon storms and showers. Denver's going to be at about 77, more 50s and 60s for the foothills. When you look at our 10-day forecast, though, still under some warmer than average conditions. We'll take a look at when we could once again hit 90 coming up.
Looking at a good drive in the foothills, whether it's on I-70, again, might be a little damp for you here along 285, but very light traffic, as you can see, going past the park and ride here before you get to Parmalee Gulch on the northbound side or outbound side of 285 heading for C-470. So a quiet start for us there in the foothills.
Well, the amount of free preschool for some Colorado kids could soon double, a huge relief for families. We're checking in on the progress toward universal pre-K.
Also, the owner of Patagonia Clothing Company is turning over his share to Mother Earth, what he plans to do with the company's $100 million in profits a year.